The Defense Space Agency is working on launching a satellite for the Armed Forces of Nigeria. To this end, the agency has successfully carried out 2 launch tests.
Nigerian armed forces turn to space technology to enhance surveillance and intelligence gathering. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma has details.
Over 1,000 forest reserves in Nigeria, out of which some had been abandoned, General Olonisaki is of the view that routine area surveillance and constant monitoring through satellite is imperative, as some of them have been converted to strongholds of criminals, as seen in the Boko Haram Sambisa forest saga. He therefore expressed optimism that the establishment of Defense Space Agency and military-industrial complex for the local production of military hardware for the armed forces will provide for active defense and flexible response in times of need.
The Nigerian Army has also established a space command that will consider the best use of space resources by the Army. In an attempt to exploit the space for military purposes, the Defense Space Agency is working on launching a satellite for the Armed Forces of Nigeria. To this end, the agency has successfully carried out 2 launch tests at the Center of Space Transport and Propulsion in Epe, Lagos.
It is a collective responsibility to ensure collective peace.
Another issue highlighted at the lecture was the efforts of the military in seeking other means
and growth.
Between the Fulanis and the Mumwes. In different fora, the former governor engaged opinion leaders from the 2 factions, where he expressed disappointment over the incident.
We've realized there must be a foreign influence to it.
Meanwhile, peace is generally returning to the affected areas, while internally displaced persons are still in their need of assistance. Adwa Demwalso, NTA News.
The presidential
Chief Days, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, is expected soon to put up a robust presentation before an enlarged presidential committee on Northeast Initiative. Joseph Orok, NTA News.
The Senate Committee on Health has reiterated its resolve to legislate.
Notwithstanding the current situation in the country, the deployment of science, technology and innovation and its integration in national socio-economic development processes must be accorded the highest priority.
We need to give our ministry's guidelines to defend certain things, particularly the level of performance of 216 projects, and to see where there are shortcomings, where there are problems.
Outside budget defense, Democracy Support and Election Coordination Group has visited the Senate President Bukola Saraki to solicit for collaborative working relationship with National Assembly.
We are trying to develop.
Plateau State and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja have commenced. A lot of grounds are yet to be covered, and this has raised concern among players of the industry. Apart from the normal issue of appropriation, the visit of the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values to NBC and Pinnacle is to assess the DSO's exercise so far.
We were here to see and how do we collaborate together to make sure all the necessary things was covered by the budget, so that by the time they want to access the fund, they won't be laid their hand upon illegality.
Despite initial challenges, he remains optimistic.
Abuja has given us an indication about by the time we go to other parts of Nigeria, we're going to have a lot more calls. So we're going to have to be ready in terms of adding extra numbers of call agents to be able to deal with the different calls coming about activation of boxes.
We have been able to successfully launch Abuja and the signal round the clock, at least for the past 2 months. There's never been any failure. At huge cost though, but I mean, it's going on well.
For now, Pinnacle Communication and MTS are the only signal distributors so far licensed by the federal government for the digital switchover project. Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Efforts by government to focus attention on genetic engineering to improve agriculture for food security in the country dominated discussions during the oversight visit of the House Committee on Science and Technology to the National Biotechnology Agency in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Although genetic engineering in improving food production has been received with mixed feelings, most developed economies have advanced in it to improve yield and quality. In Nigeria, the issue is faced with caution by both experts and the general society because of inherent side effects of it. This is one of the thorny issues that came to the fore during the oversight visit of the House Committee on Science and Technology to the National Biotechnology Development Agency. But with the focus for Nigeria to pursue the positivity in genetic engineering to enhance food production for the country, Director General of the agency, Professor Lucy Obadu, explained genetic engineering as the way to go.
I want to assure you as a scientist that none of the genetically modified organisms in the past 22 years has been shown to have any deleterious effect on the health of human beings.
Having identified the agency as one that has potential to improve the economic fortunes of the country, the members emphasized the need for
and the nutrition of plants from the soil and the inherent improvement of performance of crops and animals all invite the application of science for improved productivity.
Then why do you think Nigeria is lagging behind this application?
To apply the science to generate technologies required very suitable policies and then environments for investment, especially by the private sector. And I think that is the area where government needs to support the private sector for them to be strengthened, to borrow from the products of science and technology researches from different institutions in the country so that new products are developed and improve our economy.
How has the Institute of Agricultural Research, where you belong, used technology to enhance agriculture?
The Institute for Agricultural Research, in its 90 years existence, have developed several improved varieties of maize with high yield productivity, cowpeas, sorghum, groundnut, and so on and so forth. It has also applied the use of science and technology and developed farmer-friendly small machineries that will reduce drudgery in agricultural production. So the Institute has gone very far. The result of our research is around being disseminated by our partner institutions like the agricultural development programs in the different states in the country.
The Institute used to have very robust extension services. Is this still functional?
Not only the Institute does have, but the Institute also gave birth to another institute that is wholly committed for the transmission or dissemination of agricultural technology. The National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services is an offshoot of the Institute for Agricultural Research and is totally committed to the dissemination of improved agricultural technologies to our farmers all over the country.
Professor Mohammed Ishaku, Director, Biotechnology Research, Institute of Agricultural Research, ABU Zaria. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Ahead now for more news. Providing lasting solutions to challenges of steady and sustained power generation, transmission and distribution was the focus at a stakeholders interactive dialogue in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye reports that key players in the sector, the leadership of the National Assembly and the Minister of Power, Works and Housing were at the dialogue.
Describing the challenges in the sector as man-made, the Senate President Bukola Saraki urges that the dialogue is just not another case of analysis and ultimately non-implementation of solutions.
I'm sure that with the capacity, however, of human resources, the brains that we have, we can get ourselves out of this mess.
Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara touched on the need for a critical assessment of legislations and enactment of new laws to regulate the sector.
Let me urge that the progress in this area cannot be automatic. And those who think progress is inevitable without action will be dwelling in the realm of alternative facts.
Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, emphasized that privatization of the sector is the way to go and enumerated critical areas to examine.
There is, of course, lack of gas. I think also this is one way where you can exert your energies and your powers to make legislation that become more investor-friendly.
Goodwill messages came from notable persons who called for focus and meaningful action.
In our style of doing things, we are not into rhetorics. We talk about issues, solutions, and how to actualize the solution.
The workshop is tagged the Nigerian Power Challenge, a legislative intervention. A communique is expected to be drawn up with specific plans of action backed up by legislation to pave the way for a new and positive chapter in power supply in the country. In Abuja,
promises NERC will sustain a balance between customers' needs and operators' desire for reasonable return on investment.
I want to reaffirm our commitment to serve our nation, to be transparent, sincerity of purpose, probity, accountability.
Commissioners were selected on merit from the 6 geopolitical zones. Hamza Musa Makarpi, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, traditional rulers receive assurance of government patronage in the national quest for rule of law and promotion of morality. Details when we return.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
People always ask me how I get to practice my accent. Check this out. Baba T, how you doing now?
Bovie, I'm rich, but your phone bill must be huge.
No, I can call just about anywhere.
It's fantastic. Maybe I should come.
Oga Jensi, how are you?
I'm just looking at buying another house. They get so expensive.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you.
Hello?
Mama Charlie, how far?
Bovie, I told you not to phone me after 5.
Yes, Mom.
Bovie, have you not run out of voice and data yet?
No wahala. With Glo, I can call everywhere in Nigeria and up to 30 international destinations for just 11 kobo per second.
11 kobo per second? In today's economy?
Let me tell you a joke about your hair, Prof. No, hello, Prof.
Enjoy the lowest rates in town, plus get 20 minutes of free data. Dial *211# now.
The largest data network, Glo, grandmasters of data.
Mommy more. Where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend. Now you be my sister. Now you be my mentor. And you are still my mama.
Now you wash
Welcome back to NTA Network News. As we told you earlier, the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, was at the 14th biennial conference of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria in Benin, Edo State, where of Nigeria-Saudi Arabia Parliamentary Friendship and Hajj Affairs in Abuja. Gabriel Odu reports.
Parliamentary diplomacy and Hajj management.
The committee was inaugurated in January this year to work in partnership with its counterparts in Saudi Arabia. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Odu.
11 million naira directed electoral officers, security agents, and politicians. Chairman of the panel, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Damian Okoro, disclosed these while presenting their findings to the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, at the force headquarters, Abuja. Edino Justice has details.
The chairman of the investigation committee, DCP Okoro, noted that the panel discovered that failure of leadership and followership rather than law enforcement agents were largely.
Beokuta. Lekon Agbonde has the report.
The 2016 National Youth Survey reports by the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that youths of working age who are unemployed and underemployed is put at 56%. To address this challenge, Ogun State government organized the 2017 convention with the theme Ogun Youths Exploring New Frontiers, with participants drawn from 56 local government areas and local council.
Amaechi Pius has the details.
Chief Audu remarks at a large gathering of stakeholders in the agricultural sector centered on the various challenges prevalent in the sector. The minister lamented Nigerians' attitude towards farming, poor handling of food and agricultural produce, as well as absence of modern technology in food processing. He urged stakeholders in the entire value chain to rise to the challenge and ensure Nigeria's acquisition of global certification to boost exports.
The banking sector still considers agriculture as one of high danger. Interest rates across the globe in agriculture average 3%. Here, it will stand at 25% and above.
While corroborating Chief Auduobe's submission, Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, told stakeholders that government through the Health Ministry will continue to support stakeholders.
Food safety is particularly important in trade, since it serves to instill confidence in consumers and in importing countries with regards to trade products.
Representatives of the Ministers of the Environment, Science and Technology, as well as Industry, Trade and Investment, pledged their support to develop the sector. The theme of the two-day event is examining the interconnection of food, public health, investment and food trade.
If this demand for food safety doesn't come from the enterprises and from the consumers, we will not succeed.
The forum is organized by the European Union, United Nations Industrial Development Organization UNIDO, and the federal government of Nigeria. In Lagos, Amaechi Pius, NTA News.
And if you're just joining us, you're watching NTA Network News, reaching you live from the Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja when we return after this time out. Stay with us.
Deal in town. Glow is giving away 4G LTE smartphones absolutely free. Get this super stylish 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 48,000 Naira data bundle. This stunning 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 60,000 Naira data bundle. Or this state-of-the-art 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 75,000 Naira data bundle. The ideal phones for 4G, 3G and 2G. Plus, with Glow, you always enjoy 4G for the same price as 3G. Hurry to the nearest Glow World for the best deal in town. Welcome to the more speed of life.
is in moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements.
To closing the gaps between OPEC and the IOCs in the interest of the industry and the global economy. Meanwhile, Iraq's largest oil export terminal in Basra will from midnight Tuesday stop operations for 24 hours to get a new feeding pipeline. Iraq, which has been the main cause of worry for energy investors since OPEC's agreed deal, loads 1.8 million barrels daily from the Basra terminal. And back home, the economic reforms of the federal government have been adjudged as aggressive with regards to restoring economic growth. Special Assistant on Trade to the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Chiedu Osakwe, while addressing a forum in Abuja, said the reforms must be understood by all in the context of increasing productivity, efficiency and competitiveness, as there are no handouts for any economy in the world.
And one of the major objectives of this government is to remove the domestic constraints to doing business in Nigeria. And this is the significance of the trade facilitation agreement.
And to the capital market, the Nigerian Stock Exchange continued on the losing streak Tuesday, shedding 0.55% to close at 25,446.66 basis points. That concludes business segments. The bulletin continues.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is set to implement a lead policy framework encapsulated in the 12 business focus areas aimed at institutionalizing efficiency, profitability, and growth in the corporation. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Dr. Maikanti Kachalla-Baru, stated this while receiving the reports of the 8 committees mandated to develop strategies to drive the implementation of the 12 business focus areas. Components of the focus areas initiated by the Group Managing Director include ensuring security of NNPC assets and focusing on gas development for both domestic and export markets. The GMD has therefore directed the Chief Operating Officers of the corporation to start immediate implementation of the policy framework. Up ahead, global tidbits, sports, and Wednesday's weather forecast. Don't go away.
Taxation for national development is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, informative, educative, and interactive. Don't be told. Join us.
Mommy, more. Where would I be without you?
Should be Mother's Day. Show your mom love in the Peekadoo way. Prepare a special meal with Peak Milk. Peak. Reach for your peak.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy. and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
The federal government's social investment program has begun. The poorest and most vulnerable in the land get 5,000 naira monthly, and phase 1 has started in 9 states of the federation. 200,000 unemployed graduates have been engaged in the NPower Volunteer Corps, designed to engage 500,000 people. 5.5 million children will be fed regularly in the homegrown
Sahel region agreed to set up a joint counter-terrorism force. In another development, Amnesty International has released a report showing that groups of about 50 people, numbering 13,000, and mostly civilian opposition supporters, were executed secretly at a prison in Syria. The human rights group alleged that the killings were authorized by the highest levels in the Syrian government. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Organizers target the nurturing of Nigeria golfers through the annual Pa Equity March Memorial Pro Amateur Golf Championship in Otuko, Benue State. And the 2017 AFCON champions Cameroon return to heroes' welcome in that country. Ayodeji Makinde is our guide on Sport Update.
The 6th edition of the Pa Equity March Memorial Pro-Am Golf Tournament, which ended over the weekend at the Otukpo Golf and Country Club, Akpegede, Benue State, has been described as a catalyst for golf development and the discovery of Nigeria's future world champions in the sport through the club's international academy.
And the development of the academy in the last 2 years is visible in our achievements both internationally and then domestic.
We are bringing up the young girls too. We are trying to catch them young, just as much as the boys are being brought on board.
Francis Ekpe of Ikoyi Golf and Country Club, 1938, Lagos, emerged champion with a 2-under after scoring 286 over 72 holes. The Ladies Open Golf Trophy, won last year by Amina Wilfred, is up for grabs as over 160 golfers from 24 states of the Federation and 3 foreign nationals will converge on the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja.
We project that this year will be bigger than last year.
Away from golf, Nigeria League leaders Plateau United take on El Kanemi Warriors in one of Week 6 pairings Wednesday, as matches involving Rangers, Rivers United, FC Ifeanyi Uba and Wiki Tourist have been postponed due to continental engagements. Newly crowned African champions, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, were received amidst pomp and celebration in Yaoundé by top government officials and fans after winning a 5th AFCON title with a 2-1 win over Egypt in Gabon on Sunday. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Sympathizers have expressed shock over the death of former Executive Director Marketing of the NTA, Prince Bayosunda. Ayomike Ajibola was at the deceased residence in Oyo Town and now reports.
Sympathizers continue to track Prince Bayosunda's Omobolaji's villa at Oyo to condole with the family. According to them, the deceased was a dedicated Nigerian who was passionate about humanity and the development of his hometown.
The marks that Prince Bayosunda left in Oyo can never be forgotten.
As a gentleman, well-behaved, and very industrious.
Former Deputy Director Audit NTA, Kolamuyi, says the deceased is a thoroughbred professional whose contribution to NTA is invaluable.
He was very, very friendly and accommodating.
People have been coming down, calling and sending messages. That's to show how much he was loved by all.
Born on 15th October 1937, late Prince Bayosunda retired as Executive Director Marketing at the Nigerian Television Authority. He died in the early hour of Sunday, 5th of February 2017, age 79. From Oyo, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Next is the weather for Wednesday.
The already suspended dust particles in the atmosphere will give haziness to the north and the central cities in good visibility, as there's no fresh dust being raised. Those places around Nguru, Kano, Zaria, Mina, and Yelwa should expect some reduction in visibility to about 2 to 5 kilometers. Haziness will prevail in the inland cities, while the coast will be